Hiya, this is Maya, you're watching Ninja Pools, and this video is gonna give you everything you need to know to get started with ESO's new subclassing system. I know not everyone wanted this feature, and what we're getting is almost certainly not the finished version, but hey, you might as well check it out! There can be some pretty big advantages, especially in the early days when things are, shall we say, not quite balanced. The basics. You need at least one character on your account to be level 50. None of your low-level characters will be able to access subclassing until the level 50 character has done the introductory quest. Then it should become available account-wide. As we'll see in a minute, you do not need to have every class fully leveled, although that helps. You just need to have access, so if you never bought the Arcanist, Warden or Necromancer, none of your characters can use their abilities. The only other thing you need to do is to talk to this new NPC called Batra at Hunding, who can be found in Dune in Reaper's March, in the Aldmeri Dominion, Evermore in Bankorai in the Daggerfall Covenant, and Riften in the Rift in the Ebonheart Pact. Doesn't matter where you go, but if you don't have all the way shrines discovered, one of these locations may be easier to reach than the others, which is why I mentioned them all. The easiest way to start is to open the Crown Store and grab the quest, A Study in Discipline, for free, which will bring her up on the map. She does her best to offer a lore-friendly justification for this new system, which kinda breaks the logic of the last 11 years, but is much more consistent with modern Elder Scrolls games. She then lets you pick your first 2 skill lines to subclass. Like any smart drug dealer, the first respec is free. But anytime you do it again, you'll need to pay 1500 gold here or at a shrine or use a respec scroll. You can use the armory system later to save subclass setups and switch between them, but you cannot just use it to keep reverting to a neutral state and grab 2 new subclass skill lines for free. It doesn't work like that, despite all the YouTube comments wishing it were so. Sorry folks, you're just gonna have to pony up and pay the gold. But before we get into that, you should know that you will need to do this quick intro quest on every character before they can subclass. And they do not need to be level 50. So long as you have one character at level 50, you'll be able to unlock this on any other character. You can click on the skill line itself to get a closer look and remind yourself what's in there. Only click the plus once you've decided that you want this skill line on your character. Then you'll be prompted to choose which skill line to drop in exchange for it. The rules are that you must always keep at least one of your original class skill lines, and you cannot have more than one skill line from any other class. So for example, a Dragonknight cannot run 2 Templar skill lines or 2 Arcanist skill lines. Only characters that were originally created as a Templar or Arcanist can do that. These are the 4 constraints on subclassing. You must keep one of your original class skill lines. You cannot pick more than one from any other class. You cannot use class sets from Infinite Archive unless they are for your original class. And if you want to use the class mastery script in Scribing, that will also be dictated by your original class. That's it. Other than that, you can do whatever the hell you want. But before you can use these skill lines, you need to unlock and level them. If that's news to you, then I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. The game treats a subclass skill line like a separate version, so yes, they do need to be leveled all over again every morph, every rank. The good news is that this is pretty fast, and it's account-wide, so you only need to do it once. For more info on the best way to do that, watch this video we made about a week ago, and all the ways you can prepare. There are 2 ways to unlock a skill line for subclassing. 1. Level it to rank 50 on another character. If you've already done that, the game will give you these new upgrades, visible in the Collections menu. If they're not there, just log in with the class in question, your Sorcerer for example, and you'll immediately get the upgrades for Daedric Summoning, Dark Magic, and Storm Calling, unlocking them for use account-wide. If those skill lines are not level 50 yet, they won't show here until you finish them. 2. If there are class skill lines that you haven't hit 50 with yet, you can also unlock them in the subclassing menu itself. Instead of the plus, you'll see this symbol for subclassing, and clicking it will add that line to a pool of skill lines, including your character's original 3, that you can choose between at any time. So you can run around with a pool of 6 skill lines and can have any 3 of them active at any time. It's like a limited version of subclassing, presumably designed to keep new players from being overwhelmed. It is a bit complicated, but the devs have added a bunch of pop-ups to the UI, so if in doubt, just hover and reread them a couple of times. You can choose 3 skill lines to subclass at a time, and it looks like those are locked in place until you've leveled the skill line to 50, at which point you can swap it out. Once that happens, that line becomes unlocked, account-wide, but you can use them on other characters in the meantime if you want. The progress is shared, so you can potentially level up Herald of the Tome simultaneously on multiple characters. Just keep in mind that none of them will be able to drop it until it reaches level 50, and any Arcanist characters you make in the future will not share this progress. The easiest way to explain and remember this is that class skill lines and subclass skill lines are treated separately by the game. So whenever you make a new character, that character will still need to level its own base skills the old-fashioned way. The game doesn't care that you've already done it via subclassing. Make sense? No? Tough. I've explained it as best I can, and you'll figure it out easily enough. How you actually level everything is up to you. In my last video, we recommended Master It as a great way to pre-grind the XP you're gonna need. So when subclassing arrives, you can just stand next to Rollis and earn millions of XP in minutes. If you missed that trick, Black Rose Prison is a good way to do it. Whatever you decide, just remember to take an XP scroll and to put points into the new green champion point Discipline Artisan before you start. There are a bunch of ways to do this. You can optimize the leveling process to be as fast, cheap, and efficient as possible. You can level both morphs of every ability before switching skill lines. You can get all of them done one after the other, or just chill and level the things you need as you need them. But whenever you want to switch to level a new line, you will have to use the NPC, a respec shrine, or a scroll. If you have no idea what to level first, here are some suggestions as to which skill lines are looking most valuable right now. This is not an exhaustive breakdown, only you know what you really want to do with your characters and setups, especially when it comes to PvP or solo content. But if you're a bit lost, then for group and general PvE stuff, these are a good place to start. Just keep in mind that this video was made just before subclassing goes live, so things may have changed, especially if you're watching it months down the line. If you want more details on what each skill line does, we did a whole series on class abilities and passives, explaining exactly how they interact and the types of situation where you might want to use them. But obviously that was before subclassing came along, and we'll definitely be updating those soon. Skinny Cheeks also recently did a great little video on the top 10 lines for damage. Check that out if you're not up to date or if you need some inspiration. Okay, so we know how to unlock and level the lines we want. And once we've got them up to 50 and leveled all the morphs we need, all that will be available account-wide, which is great. What isn't account-wide, however, is your pool of skill points. And you're probably going to need more, because subclass skill lines cost twice as many skill points. Every time you add a base ability, a morph, or a passive, it's 2 skill points instead of 1. So long as you're just leveling, that's no problem. Just take skill points out of crafting, guild, or weapon skill lines, whatever you don't strictly need at the time. But if you plan to use this system on a bunch of characters, just be aware that you may need to go Skyshard hunting or something to bulk up the pool of skill points they have to play with. And finally, when you're done leveling and you want to go back to your chosen loadout for content, you can use the armory system as long as you're not in the middle of any timed content like a trial. Many people were worried about this because ZOS never made scribing work with the armory system, so there was an assumption that perhaps subclassing wouldn't work either. Thankfully, it does. Just remember to grab all the passives before you save a loadout. So, I think that's all we need to cover. I didn't want this video to get too long, so by the time you get to the end, you've forgotten what I said at the beginning. So I'm just gonna say good luck with subclassing, keep an eye out for some builds in the coming days, join our Discord if you want advice from friendly and experienced players who know what they're talking about, And please, support Ninja Pulls if you can. It's just me and Khan making all this content, and there's no way we could do it without the support of the community. So thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.